In a community that has recently opened its doors, and the sides of its buildings, to visiting artists, one group of painters and sculptors has been steadily practicing their craft in the heart of Braddock since 1991. The New Guild Studio creates artwork for churches across the country. Composed of two husband and wife teams, Mary and Dave Corns and Suzanne and Dave Mariello, New Guild creates stained glass, icons, and other pieces of liturgical artwork in a brightly lit studio hidden behind a gate on Braddock Avenue. Walking into the studio is something like landing in the Technicolor world of Oz. The gray and dusty exterior of Braddock's main thoroughfare gives way to floor-to-ceiling color. The studio is filled with multi-hued pieces of stained glass, small sculptures of traditional church figures, and richly colored paintings composed in deep blues and golds.
The colors are sort of one of our trademarks. Even with the interior wall colors, we use the same types of color. And it's sort of one of our trademarks when we do a project.
Mariello has an entire wall of the studio to himself to paint murals of church icons. Mariello's wall betrays the evidence of perhaps hundreds of paintings, each outlined in thin rectangles of red, blue, and green.
And all those lines are from paintings that we did in the past. If we ever leave, we'll have to take our wall with us.
New Guild is distinguished as much by its fearless use of color as it is by its eclectic output. All of the New Guild artists work in a number of different genres, from painting to sculpture to mosaics.
Artists are so used to being pigeonholed into either a painter or a sculptor or something like that, where we never wanted that. We were always interested in everything. I mean, a lot of us are more or less one thing or the other is our main interest, but everything interests us.
The studio follows in the tradition of American Artists Guilds, which, according to Dave Corns, tended to be companies that did as much as possible under one roof. Today, it is unusual to find a studio as small as New Guild that is able to produce artwork across so many different genres.
Our work encompasses so much, it's sort of hard to describe, but we call it New Guild because there's so many, there's stained glass, there's paintings, there's metal work, there's all different mediums that we work in. But
the members of New Guild Studio found a niche market that allows them to thrive while remaining small and diverse. Churches demand a variety of stained glass, paintings, metalwork, sculptures, and mosaics, all of which New Guild is prepared to create.
Yeah, this is a series of icons based on the life of the Blessed Mother, the Mother of Christ. So they're each, in this type of work, we have to follow an ancient prototype, pretty closely, but not exactly. But there's certain symbolisms in all of them that have to be shown.
Commissions from churches, most in the western Pennsylvania area, have supplied New Guild with steady work for years.
A lot of times the church doesn't know where to go, and we could sort of help them with everything.
None of the New Guild artists grew up in Braddock, but all are from the area. The studio likes its Braddock location, which according to Mary Corns, has just been a good place to stay. The members of New Guild Studio have borne steady witness to Braddock's decay over the last 20 years. Suzanne Mariello can remember when Braddock was a bustling commercial center with streets so crowded with people it was difficult to move. But then Mariello says, it just got kind of sad. Mariello recalls a gradual decline in which more and more businesses closed up shop and more houses were vacated, some in anticipation of an expressway that was planned through the middle of town. Having suffered through such a steady and relentless deterioration, Mariello does not expect Braddock's recovery to be quick.
Well, I think the way it's moving right now, it's very slow. So in 10 years, it might not look too much different.
Recent efforts to revitalize the borough have focused on creating public art. Large mosaic signs, murals on the sides of buildings, and gardens. Braddock is now home to two new art venues, one called Transformasium and one called Up Smoke. But can art revitalize a community? Can it hasten the pace of recovery? Or is it just a cosmetic fix?
I think it can start. Artists, especially young artists with a lot of energy and ambition, can go into a place that's a little desolate, that maybe somebody that doesn't want to buy it as a residence in a normal neighborhood situation, but space is available for them to utilize in different ways. Artists are more concerned with amounts of space and creative ways of using space.
Well, I think it's a first step. I think it's we're not going to bring Braddock back to what Braddock was. Braddock's going to become something, but it's going to be something different than what it was.